Greetings, comrades, from the greenhouse today. Quick shout out to INN, the Indian News Network, which I'm stoked to be a part of. So, pandemic still very much alive and, well, dead, we should say, here in the United States. As many people in the U.S. have now died under the Biden administration as did under Trump. Just because, capitalism is a death cult. We couldn't even get universal fucking health care during a goddamn pandemic. And, liberals were rightfully outraged under this massive amount of, death and suffering that happened under the Biden, or I should say under the Trump administration. But where's that same heat? Where's that same fire for the hundreds of thousands of people who have now died from the coronavirus under the Biden administration? Crickets, silence, nothing, no reaction. Liberals, shit libs, if you will, they have went back to sleep. They have went back to brunch because Orange Man bad. The R is out of the office. Biden, their boy Biden with the D next to the name is in there. So mum's the word, right? And, that's how unserious, liberals are. They don't really give a shit if anything changes because Biden is Trump 2.0, but with liberal messaging and marketing, right? So liberals don't really care. They just wanted to get a Democrat elected. And it doesn't really matter if he's just as horrible handling the pandemic as Trump was. Because Democrats, Republicans don't care about the working class. They don't really care about people's, suffering under this horrible capitalist system that they have. They just care about staying in power and keeping their puppet masters happy, i.e. the capitalist class. And this is just another example of that, right? Like Biden, all of the really mild things he campaigned on, he's went completely back on because, again, the goal wasn't really to help people out or to improve their material conditions. It was just to get, Trump out of office because he made the U.S. empire look bad because of his just, very out front and, vulgar racism and white supremacy and xenophobia, while, the Biden administration is still very much capitalistic. It still serves white supremacy. It still serves imperialism. It's just a more refined version. The rhetoric is more toned down, but the actions are, the same, whether it's, the mass deportations that have been happening under Biden, the hundreds of thousands of people who have died during the Biden administration from the coronavirus, as did under Trump. U.S. imperialism still very much alive and well, as the Biden administration has, ramped up sanctions on Nicaragua, continued the heightened sanctions against Cuba, still sanctioning Iran, Syria, and the list goes on, right? So again, these liberals, Democrats, and in general, deeply unserious people, and I just don't see there being much hope for change within the Democratic Party. I think that's why it's super important to build power outside of it, build up a actual third party that would be able to push these two corporate parties to the left, because we have two right-wing parties in the United States, center-right, maybe even a far-right in some cases, Democratic Party, and a very far-right Republican Party, right? So again, it's not really surprising that just as many people have died from the coronavirus pandemic under Trump has happened under Biden. It was kind of an inevitability. The Democrats, the Biden administration talks, they can use that language of feeling the pain of the working class, and they have this nice flowery rhetoric. We care about you. Look at all the things we're doing, when they're really doing fuck all. And it's just, again, the Biden administration is Trump 2.0, but with liberal messaging and marketing. And again, we don't hear anything from the liberals. They're very, very quiet about, kids in cages, about hundreds of thousands of people dying under the Biden administration, about the mass deportations, about the expanding the offshore oil drilling, persecuting Julian Assange, not legalizing marijuana, or at least decriminalizing it, right? Silence, nothing. That's how you can tell a person isn't really serious and it's just a game to them, right? They don't have any skin in the game because they don't really, their material conditions haven't been impacted. They're still doing well, while, you know, vast majority of people in the US are still suffering, as they did under Trump, as they now still are under Biden. And again, when material conditions continue to deteriorate for the masses, you know, chaos, violence, crime will increase because people don't really have any other option, right? So it's, you know, the capitalist class is kind of digging their own graves at this point, right? By not actually at least even having any mild tweaks around the edges, not having, you know, capitalism with the human face as they do in these SOCDEM countries like, you know, Norway or Sweden, etc., right? So not surprising, but still obviously deeply disturbing. You know, the hundreds of thousands of people that have now died under the Biden administration, equaling the amount that have died under Trump. 800,000 people have died from the coronavirus in the United States now. I mean, just that amount of death, like, that could fill like 8 fucking, you know, sports stadiums. Like, you know, it's going to be passing 1 million at some point, probably some point in 2022. Just that mass amount of death and how we've become desensitized to that. It's just really disgusting and just a complete indictment on this capitalist white supremacist system that we have and live under, whether it's under a Biden admin, whether it's under Republican admin, you know, whatever, it still continues unabated, right? Like the video if you like the damn video, subscribe for more content. Quick shout out to the 2 Uber comrades supporting my channel, partner and Indie Left News. Peace, much love.